Welcome everybody to Lessons from the Cockpit. Today we're going to talk about, is being a virtual assistant for you? Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Belinda Sandor, founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to create, grow, and scale their business. And I work with my students in my free online community, my courses, and my coaching programs. So definitely check out the VA Connection on Facebook if you haven't already. And I did not look today, but today might be the day that we hit 50,000 members. If it's not today, it's tomorrow. And that's very exciting. So I want you to be a part of that. Now, today I'm going to be your host for this live stream show, Lessons from the Cockpit, that we air pretty much every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., where I share tactical and practical advice for virtual assistants, no matter where they are on their journey. And I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. So let me pop up the comments here and let me know. So we are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I shared the video into our Kickstart group and also the VA Connection. And so I'm hoping that we're streaming there as well. All right, great. So hello, Trudy. Hello, hello, hello. That's awesome. Okay. So today we're going to talk about this whole concept of being a virtual assistant, because a lot of you are wondering, is this for me? What are the benefits? And I'd love to hear your comments and your questions in the chat. So let me know what's on your mind. And first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to myself. So this is me and my daughter, Emily. She's now 23 years old, but this is her back in 2010 and me back in 2010 when I was first starting my business as a VA, and my life had really gotten off track. I had expectations. I think we all do, the big 3-0, the big 4-0, how much money I wanted to be making, what my relationship status would be, would I be a mom, things like that. And also, I wanted to have retirement underway. At 50, I just felt like, that was sort of like the beginning of the slide down, which I have no idea what I was thinking about, because I got to tell you, I'm 63 now, and I am not even beginning the slide down. I just had some kind of artificial attachment to 50, right? So if you've got that too, you can let it go. Now, so here I am, I'm 50. I'm getting divorced. I don't have a job. I have a business that's epically failed. The result is that I have a ton of debt. My taxes are, all messed up. I haven't paid them for quite a while. And I'm stressed out all the time. I'm just like, I'm in survival mode. I know some of you have been in that mode, right? Where you're just trying to survive, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's hard to get up in the morning when you're in survival mode, right? And, not feeling fulfilled, not feeling satisfied, all the things that make life wonderful. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do to start making money. And I knew I didn't want a job. And I know a lot of you are in the same boat, right? You don't want a job. You don't want to go into the 9-to-5. And because it's never 9-to-5. And I haven't had a job for a long time. But my understanding is that with cell phones and this whole 24/7 thing, it's like, there's no rest. There's no rest, especially if you're working in an administrative field. People feel like they can reach out to you at any time and need you to respond. And it doesn't have to be that way when you're a virtual assistant. So Trudy is here. Everyone's joining us. Trudy is here. George is here. Frederica. Yeah, you need, that's true. Trudy says you need hope and a feeling that you're moving toward a goal. That is absolutely true. I have to have that. And, it's funny because as interesting as it is, and, after we bought the house, I was a little bit like, now what, because we bought the house and I had to really ground myself again into what was I hoping for? What was I aiming for? What was I dreaming about? And it took a little while, but I got my feet back under me, and it's good. It really is a little disorienting, right? So I love that. I love that observation. So the thing is that I knew that, I knew I was an admin. I was a secretary back in the dark ages. I like that kind of work. It's funny, we were talking to some people in the Kickstarter training the other day, last night, and someone said, I really like to type. I'm like, me too, right? I like to type. I like to do admin work. I'm a little bit of a geek, and so I wanted to do that. I wanted to pursue that. So I started telling everyone I knew what I was up to, that I wanted to be. I didn't even know what a virtual assistant was. There were probably 3 of them on the planet at that point. And there was no Google back then, all right, just to sort of set the set the timeline. And I didn't know how to talk about it, all the things that I teach you all, but I just started spreading the word, and it worked out really well. So since 2010, I've billed 20,000 billable hours. I've worked with over 225 clients, and I've made over $1 million being a virtual assistant, sitting actually in this exact chair that I'm sitting in right now, working from home. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. So I'm standing there. It's usually the dads in the morning. I was the mom. The dads are with the kids because they're on their way to work or whatever. And one of the dads said, "What's new?" I told him about my business. And within like minutes, practically that afternoon, he hired me and I started working with him. And, it was just a matter of getting the word out because so many people need help. And I was the solution to his problem. His problem was his bills weren't getting paid. His problem was his wife was losing her mind because she had a full-time job, 3 kids, a dog, and he's asking her to help him. And she's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, how can I do that? I can hardly keep up with what's going on with me." So they were both so grateful that someone that they know, someone they trust, would be able to step in. And so it's important to just spread the word. My second client I got standing in the buffet line at a wedding, same thing, except I reached out to him on LinkedIn. We connected. A few weeks later, he reached out to me and said, "Can you help me with the project?" He's still a client, and he's now a friend. And it's amazing how these relationships are built just by taking these small risks. And so what I want you to know is that the systems that I developed over the years of building my business is exactly what I teach you here at the VA Connection, so you can have the same success. And I would love to teach you too. So welcome. So fast forward. So it's funny. I like to tell the story because it's so true. When I first moved to Connecticut, one of my best friends, she said to me, "If I would have told you, 6 years ago that you were going to fall in love with this amazing man, that you were going to, be moving to Connecticut, that you're going to have a thriving business, all the things, I would have said she was crazy. I would have said she was crazy. I probably would have said to her she was being even mean to me. Like, why would you even say that? That's impossible." And I feel the same way here. So here, this is me on, actually my whole family on our wedding day. And this was 2 years ago. And you can see we've expanded. I have all these fabulous men in my life now, David and Charlie, Stephen and Andy. And David, in fact, is a new dad. He has Henry. And Henry is, gosh, he must be 7 weeks old right now. And that's really exciting. And he lives in Virginia too. So we've been able to see him. And the thing is my finances are handled. Things are under control. I can see a different future. I'm in a different future. And it was really because I leaned into what I wanted. I got clear on what it was. I made changes to my mindset. I made changes to my life. I put routines in place that would support that. And the latest dream is that Greg and I have wanted to be homeowners, and here we are. This is a sort of a bleak day, and it's sort of gray in January, but this is when we closed on our house on January 29th, and such an exciting day. And we are on a completely new adventure, loving every minute of it. And I couldn't be more thrilled. And the thing is if you're thinking it's too late, I know some of you, I've talked to people who are like, "I'm 40, it's too late." I'm like, for what? It's like, you can do anything you want. It's not too late at 40 or 50 or 60. And I got to tell you, I could start my VA business from scratch right now. No problemo. So if you're wondering if age is an issue, it seems like it's an issue in the workplace. I mean, one of the reasons I started my business was at 50, it wasn't like 40. I couldn't just get a job like that. I was very confused by that. Like, what's going on? I've been able to get a job, no problem, always making more money, doing something more interesting. And that just wasn't the case once I turned 50. And so I took matters into my own hands and I started my own business as a virtual assistant. Now, let's dive into this whole concept of is being a virtual assistant for you. Okay. So again, in 2010, I started my business, and I have to say, when the pandemic hit in 2020, not that much about my life really changed. I mean, Greg went out and did the grocery shopping. I was wiping the groceries down. But the truth is that because I had established my business and I was working from home, not that much changed. But it did change for a lot of people, because a lot of people, I mean, Jen Cohen said this yesterday in the interview we did, Ask a Virtual Assistant, that she went home they sent everybody home in March of 2020. And then I think it was 2 years later, they wanted everyone to come back to the office. And she was like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I get that, because when you get used to not commuting, not packing a lunch, not worrying about traffic, what about my clothes, all the things, it's a much different lifestyle. It's a much different lifestyle. And I noticed that people realized how much more productive they could be, and how many of you are like so over the work politics and drama? I'm sure I know it still happens when people work for companies remotely, because I can see it in my husband's life. It's definitely there. It's like, how do you kick someone under the bus on a video, that's recorded? I don't know, but they're doing it. And so, the thing is that you really have to think about, what do you want, right? What do you want, and how do you want to spend your days? And the thing is about being a virtual assistant, there's so much flexibility. You really get to decide how you want to spend your day. Now, let's define virtual assistant first, all right? Because I know some of you are new, and some of you have ideas about what this means. You think you have to be a social media expert, or you have to be, really high tech and know a lot of things. And you really do not. So, all right, let's start with the definition. A virtual assistant provides administrative, technical, or creative support assistance to clients. But instead of working full-time for one person or organization, they work virtually, right? Usually from home, providing these services to various clients. Now, you can see that virtual assistance is a highly individualized profession. Anyone can start doing this with the skills they already have and learn more over time. So you don't need to have all these up-to-date technical skills, because it's possible you could have an entire career without doing high-tech stuff. And if you want to, you can learn it over time. But I have to tell you, when I started out as a virtual assistant, these are my superpowers. I was really good at search engines and getting questions answered. So research, right? I knew a little HTML. Okay, here, ready? Okay. I built a website for my 30-year-old nephew on America Online, AOL, and that's where I learned a little bit of HTML, making him a website. I'm talking very little, okay? And I knew how to send an email newsletter using Constant Contact. My superpower was that I liked to learn new things, and I wasn't afraid to jump in. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't trash talk myself at first. I did. I trash talked myself for a decade, but I finally figured out I could skip that step. So if you're interested in learning new things and kind of going with the flow, this can 100% be for you, because every client's going to want something different. And I know a lot of you are thinking, what are the skills that pay the most? What are the applications I absolutely need to know? And I'll tell you, there are applications that my students know that I've never heard of. Because it was never requested of me to do anything with those applications. So, I can't do graphics. I can't write for people. I can't write social media posts for other people. There's a lot of things that are not in my wheelhouse. and I still had a very successful career helping, over 200 entrepreneurs. So you absolutely don't need that. And I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me on this. All right. If you want to get started. So here's the thing. So I spend my days doing things like creating PDFs, scheduling appointments, editing, researching, paying bills. Now you do need a computer. You don't need a ton of applications or expensive tools, but you must have a computer. And I want to talk now about the advantages of leaning into being a VA, because when you're a successful VA, boy, your life changes. And I had no idea how much my life was going to change and how much the quality of my life would improve. Because, most people, you go to work, you're thinking, all right, I have a job, I have benefits, I have all the things. And you're feeling like this is how life goes, right? Because you look around and all the people are there with you. But the thing is that when you work from home and when you have your own business, which is even like, next level, you have so much flexibility. You have so much flexibility. You get to decide when you'll work. You get to decide when you're going to work, right? When and how much. And so that means that if you want to have a schedule that you get up in the morning, you work out, you go for a walk, whatever, you make breakfast, you can do that. We were talking to Jane yesterday, who's over in the UK, in our Ask a Virtual Assistant session. She says that she works in the afternoon and evenings. That's when she's been at her best. And so that's okay too. So in the morning, she does what she wants to do. And then she kicks in around noon or whatever time after lunch. And she works through into the evening. So you really have flexibility. Now, the money is really good. I'm telling you, it's like, because you get to decide how much you're going to get paid for your work. Now, some of you are going to struggle with this. And that's why one of the reasons we have VA school, so that you don't have to struggle. And most of the time, I at least double what people are making right out of the gate. If some of you were thinking, Tammy was saying yesterday, what did she said, oh, I thought maybe I could charge $20 an hour. She's charging $50. You guys, you don't have to be shy about asking for the money that you want. All right. And, and again, it's probably a lot more than you think. The other thing is you can work from anywhere. So you get to decide, you get to decide where. So here's my point. Sorry, someone just WhatsApped me and I lost my attention. So I have worked at Barnes. My daughter's an equestrian. I've worked in the back seat with my hotspot. I have worked on a remote farm in Virginia. Greg's family owns, his brother and his wife on a farm. I have worked at baseball fields, softball fields. I have worked so many places, and you can work in increments. Like, so we get to the softball field, the game's not going to start for a half an hour. They're warming up, whatever. I can bill 30 minutes from the car if I want to, right? If I want to. So you really can work from anywhere. And it just makes it so nice not to be tied down to a desk, right? Not to be tied down to your office. Yeah. George says, I'm over it. Corporate is not for me. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the dress code. You don't have to spend money on office clothes anymore, right? You get to wear whatever you want, and I love that. I love that. And I have to tell you so since the pandemic, everybody's on video, but before that, it was really good because you didn't have to worry about anything. I mean, now you need to, at least be dressed from the waist up, but there is no dress code. There is no, I hardly ever buy clothes. I have to tell you, most of my clothes have a Nike swoosh on them. Actually that's probably true. And you don't have to get dressed up, and you don't have to worry about, business casual, office attire, all the things. The other thing is, this is one of my favorite things about being a virtual assistant, is you get to use your whole brain when you're working. And what I mean by that, when you have a job, sometimes you have to do things for the sake of work. It's like busy work, or you have to be, FaceTime. That's funny. That means something different than it used to when I had a job. FaceTime was making sure your boss saw your face enough. It was like they saw you there at night, they saw you there in the morning, they saw you at your desk. It's like, there was this FaceTime thing, and now I know that means video on your phone, but you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Your clients don't care. They don't care, and you get to use your whole brain. You get to work on things that are interesting to you, right? And you're part of the decision-making process with your clients. Like, oh, you want to do this? Okay, let's talk about how we could do that. And you get to be involved in it. It is very fulfilling to work as a virtual assistant. I have to say, it's rewarding to help other people succeed. And the truth is, it's in our DNA, right? It's in our DNA. We can't help but want to help people. It's just part of who we are. So if all of this sounds good to you, I hope you'll jump in. I hope you'll jump in with both feet to become a virtual assistant. Definitely check out my website, thevaconnection.com. Go to the blog. It's filled with so many resources that you can use to change your life right now. And I know a lot of you have been part of the Kickstart training that we've had last week and yesterday, and you're thinking about VA school. And I want to invite you to really think about diving in. Enrollment is open, actually, until tonight at midnight. So think about what your life would be like with flexibility, making the money you want to make. What would it be like to be able to work anywhere you want to work? Because I'm not kidding you. You have to put the work in. Like, you have to figure out, and I'll help you in VA school, how many hours you're going to work a week, and you're going to figure out how much you're going to charge for that, and make sure the numbers work to meet your number to, have the life you want. But you get to decide when that happens. And I will tell you, there's nothing so fulfilling as leaning in, helping someone, using your brain, being appreciated, right? Being appreciated and doing work you love. There's nothing like it. So head over to vaschool.info to check out, all that it's about. We just started a new payment plan for 12 months. You can make payments of $149, so less than $150. We'll get you in today. All right. Thank you for watching Lesson from the Cockpit. I'm Belinda Sandor, signing off for now.